Hello friends, Patrick here, and today we are going to be discussing a very important issue, and that is buying RAM for your computer. Yes, the all-important question when you're gonna end up building a computer. How are you gonna choose your RAM sticks? Are you gonna choose them on the name or the brand? Sounds sort of like the name, but sometimes you have a brand then a name. You never know, some of the names are pretty cool. And are you going to choose it on the color or the shroud or the marketing terms that they use? Because now they're selling some really weird RAM sticks with some sort of LEDs and all sorts of gadgetrons. Or are you going to choose it on performance? Well, first of all, I hope you're going to be choosing the right stick. DDR1, 2, 3, or 4. So before we get into it, let me just remind you guys that I'm giving away this Zenith SSD 240GB SSD. So guys, check it out in this video over here where I give you the details how you can win this. And there has been some amazing and really cool submissions on the YouTube page, which is, you know, how you enter. Just give us a comment, but there is a specific way you have to comment a specific thing, and you can check it all out in that video right here. And if you haven't already, go have a look. So now, RAM. The RAM decision. Yes, the random access memory stick that you use for your computer. Well, first of all, what's it for? Well, 100% you need it. That's what it's for. The slots are there. You gotta plug something in there, otherwise the computer's not gonna run. But what it does, it loads programs into this memory, just like a hard drive, except this thing's got low memory amounts and high read and write, and that's really what it's for. So you can access your running programs really quickly, and they can run really quickly. Now, some people can actually, well, not some people, I mean, you can, anybody can do it. It just takes a little bit of tinkering, but you can actually load Windows, Linux, or anything onto your RAM stick. Some SSDs can use it as a write cache, like Samsung's SSDs, so it's got multiple uses, but the main use is to load your programs in and make them run. Now we're speaking about games. Yes, it will load most of the data, most of the things that it needs to access all the time. Let's talk GTA, for example. You've got lots of textures. It will put some of those textures, well, not the textures itself, I suppose. The textures go on the RAM of the graphics card, but some of the programming things in the RAM, most of the GTA program itself, not the game. And as you play, it will access it and load the next bit, and so on and so forth. This is very simplifying, guys. If you have an issue the way I said it, let me know in the comments what it actually does, or just look it up on Wikipedia. Now, the main things you look for on a RAM stick is the size, in the sense of how much gigs it has. It can range from 1, not anymore, but, you know, for argument's sakes, 1 to 4, 8, and I think 16 sticks. They're a bit more expensive, but then, you know, if you've got 4 slots, and you can put in 2 16s, making it 32. Now, the first thing you gotta also notice is that some of them have different frequencies. Now, these frequencies sort of garner the speed of the stick. Now, back in DDR1 and 2 times, those mattered. DDR3 and DDR4, which is the 2 mainstream platforms right now. I mean, DDR3 is phasing out, DDR4 is going in. It's going in slowly. These things phase out very slowly, but DDR3 and DDR4, the frequencies don't matter as much, because, for example, if you look up on the internet, you will find a benchmark between a DDR4 and a DDR3, low frequency and high frequency, and you'll notice that the difference is very minimal for games. For other applications, it might be problematic. Maybe even something like an Adobe Suite where you gotta render, you know, video and things like that. But again, for games, you're gonna get a very small benefit, especially if you are building a computer on a budget. DDR3 you can still buy and it will still be good. The difference is very small, even on the completely high-end DDR4 cards, slot things. It's gonna be very minimal, almost 2 to 3 FPS sometimes. Look, I didn't do the test, but you can look up on the internet for all sorts of benchmarks. Anyway, the thing you want to look out for is actually the quality of how long it's gonna last. And before I go into that, there is a little bit of something that's called the timings, and that is very technical, and in my opinion, it just doesn't matter anymore. Most sticks are made the same, and if you go for the very high end, you know, $300 and up, you will notice that the timings are going to be a little bit better. But again, in gaming performance, I have not seen a big performance gain in my experience using sticks of all sorts. I went through them like candy sometimes, through multiple computers. Sometimes I'll just buy one just for the heck of it, see how it performed, because they are so cheap these days. The very expensive ones, they look cooler. Now, what would you be looking for? Well, first of all, if you're building on a budget, you don't want to really go out. In my opinion, minimum is 8 gigs for a PC. A laptop can get away with 4 gigs because you're not going to be really using it for that much power usage. You're not going to really be doing a lot of things on a laptop, and therefore you can get away with it. But nowadays it is a minimum of 8 anyway. 16 gig is where I see the sweet spot for Windows 10, for example. If you have Windows 8.1, 16, you needed 16. Otherwise, even 8 was very, very hard to run 8. And maybe that's a bit of a hate towards 8. Why? Because most people had very low RAM. Vista suffered from this. XP did not. But Windows 7 also did not suffer from it. You could have 8 to 4 gigs, but 16 I think is a sweet spot right now, even for Windows 10. Really good RAM management, their memory management. So 16 is what you want to aim for. And for example, I've got four sticks, and I haven't changed them through 3 machines, my friends. Yes, I've had my 4 sticks for 3 machines, each 4 gigs, and I have not had to replace them. And I didn't even buy very expensive ones. What I did buy is the reliability of the brand, Kingston, and that's what I went for. I decided reliability can last me through a longer period of computers. So if you are planning on upgrading your computer in the future, if you buy a good RAM stick, it doesn't have to be the most expensive at these high frequencies. A mid-range one will do. It will last you from multiple computers, especially now if you buy DDR4, it can go through multiple ones. For example, me, I'm still on DDR3, and if I want to upgrade, the cost is going to be so substantial because there's a lot of pieces I cannot take with me, like CPU and RAM. I know CPU is expensive, RAM not so much these days, but it is an added cost to an upgrade. So what you want to look out for is those deals where they're selling like 16 gigs to 8 gig sticks for about $100 or less. That I think is a good deal. A little tip though, if you are planning on getting one of those and it has a frequency of 1300, for example, which is a good frequency nowadays, 1300, 1600, if you get into 2000s, it's going to get more expensive. But if you start off with a 1300 megahertz RAM stick, you can actually overclock them in your motherboard settings, and the only thing that will hold you back is some good internal heat dispersion and a good fan. So if you get a stick with a nice metal shroud, you will actually technically be able to cool it a little bit better, and the stick will last longer as the heat will not kill it if you are overclocking it for that extra few megahertz. So you might get a lot more life out of these sticks, and that's what I've done. I've actually overclocked it to 2133 from a 1600 stick, and it's been absolutely marvelous. I do not overvoltage it too much, but it's there. It's been running like this for like 4 years, and I'm very, very happy with it. Now, back in the day, they used to sell memory sticks with all sorts of gadgetry, like actual add-ons that would go on all 4 sticks and have a fan on top. They would have water-cooled units that would go on top that you would connect to your loop. If you notice now, they're not really selling things like that anymore because RAM sticks have become more energy efficient and much better. And nowadays, it's really not that expensive if it really breaks. So, in conclusion, in summary, my friends, buy mid-range, but if you are on a budget and you buy the lowest of the cheapest, you will not go wrong. Do not fall into the trap of expensive RAM because it's not gonna do you any good unless you're going for the looks. That is really what RAM is being sold on: looks, brand, and those color schemes. So if you want to match something, obviously you might have to end up getting a very more expensive stick because it fits your color scheme in your beast. I've got a bit of a red scheme, but I've got blue RAM. I'm not really bothered. I could plexi spray the thing, and that's what you can do. You can customize it in the end, but don't fall in the trap. Spend too much on RAM because if you are gaming, it's not going to do you any better than a cheaper RAM. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Remember to check out that competition. It's gonna be going for a little while longer, so it's still live as I make this video. And also, give me a thumbs up or subscribe to see more content. Got heaps of things coming up, guys. Lots of new reviews to do, and I cannot wait to share these videos with you guys. I'll catch you all later.